Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sexual Assault Survivor Stories, the SAS podcast. Thank you for being here. This powerful podcast offers inspiration, education, and guidance on healing from emotional and mental trauma and providing a safe space for victims and survivors of rape or sexual assault to share their experiences and promote trauma-informed care with belief, support, and empathy. I'm your host, Dave Markel, coming to you from the Long Valley Studio in Washington, Utah. This is episode 121, and this week I'm proud and honored to have Arci Grey back on the show with me. I invited Arci to be with me today so that she could introduce to you a new survivor platform that she just recently launched. I don't want to steal her thunder about this, so without further ado, here's Arci, and I'll catch you on the other side. Hey SAS listeners, I'm really excited today because with me is Arci Grey, and Arci's here because she has a great announcement she wants to make. First of all, welcome, Arci. It's great to have you back on Sexual Assault Survivor Stories.
Thanks, Dave. It's always a pleasure to be here. I love our conversation, so I'm excited. Yeah,
me too. Arci, like I said, has a great announcement she'd like to make, and I'm just going to turn it over to you, Arci, and have you tell our audience what's going on.
I am very excited, Dave. We have officially opened the doors to Survivor School. We have been working day and night behind the scenes since really October to put all these pieces together. And we're just super excited to announce that the doors are officially open. We have our website up and running. Obviously, there's a lot of kinks to work out, and we're hoping that people will come and push buttons and tell us what works and what doesn't so that we can make it perfect. Essentially, we have finally built what we're calling, it's an online trauma-informed personal development platform for trauma survivors. And the goal is to help them regain control of their whole lives. We know that trauma affects every aspect of our lives, right? We don't heal trauma 1 hour a week in therapy. We heal our trauma in real life, in real time, when we're dealing with the real issues that come up. We know that trauma affects our health and well-being. We know that trauma affects our wealth, our ability to earn money, sometimes our ability to even hold a job. It can affect our credit. It can affect our financial security. It also affects our relationships. Trauma makes it difficult to love and feel loved. It can make it difficult to trust others and rebuild our support system. And really, one of the most prevalent effects of trauma is it affects our ability to grow. And so many trauma survivors get stuck in what I kind of refer to as the trauma cycle, where it's just living one crisis to the next. So Survivor School has brought together over 20 experts. This is amazing. It's an amazing collaborative effort. And we have completed most of our masterclass series, which introduces all of our members and viewers to each of these experts and all of the different modalities for healing that they bring to the table. Like I said, this is way beyond therapy. So for people who have struggled in talk therapy or who have gone through the whole cycle of medications and cognitive behavioral therapy and all of these other things and have felt like it's not enough or it hasn't worked for them and then they need something more that gets them off the therapist couch, that's why we built Survivor School. So this is my official invitation for everyone to come and check it out and join us and give us your feedback. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want. Tell us what you need so that we can bring it to you. So
absolutely. That's so great. Yeah.
Long-winded explanation. I'm excited.
That was excellent. I'm really happy that this is up and going. I know I've kind of been in touch with you since, well, even before October, knowing that this was coming, working with you, did one of the masterclass intros, and appreciate you inviting me to be a part of this. Arci, let's go back and talk about that initial thought process, how Survivor School came about, because I know you had Survivor to CEO already up and running. And as far as I understand, that's still going, right?
Yeah.
That's available.
Actually one of our programs inside Survivor School, under our wealth category. So I'll still be running that program. I'm still very much involved, even though I'm kind of running a lot of things behind the scenes. We have a small but very mighty team coordinating all of our different experts. And Dave, you are one of our experts, which I'm very excited. We have a common goal. We want survivors to be successful. Yeah. So yes, Survivor to CEO, if people are interested in building a business and trying to do so while navigating their trauma and they want to build a trauma-informed business. That's absolutely a program within Survivor School. It falls under the wealth category. But how this all started, it honestly started probably about maybe 6 years ago. But essentially it started because I was one of the lucky few people that had, after my experience, after what I experienced I've told my story on your podcast before as well, but for anybody who doesn't know, about 6 years ago, I survived kidnapping, rape, and attempted murder. And putting my life back together was difficult. It wasn't just overcoming the trauma and the symptoms of that trauma. I, at the time, was running a business and I lost my business. I lost friends. I lost my house. So much of my life fell apart as a result of my trauma. I was one of the lucky few people that had a fantastic therapist. And she was the one that told me that I was not going to heal 1 hour a week sitting in her office, that my healing was going to have to happen in every area of my life. I think that she was one of the most brilliant people to have an awareness that even though as a therapist, her goal was to help me recover and help me regain control of my thoughts and my feelings and the emotions I was having and process all of that, that I had to take all of that outward into the world. When I started coaching other people, I thought that I had to be the expert for every single one of them. I thought that I had to help them with their physical health because I know what I went through to kind of get back on my feet. I had gone from running triathlons to not even being able to walk. That was a journey for me. And then having lost my business and my ability to work. I mean, I couldn't even drive. So the default things that we can usually turn to make a quick buck, I didn't have that resource around me. Having lost friends, being 3,000 miles away from my family and my support system, and I had lost my purpose in life. So as I put it back together, all the pieces of my life, I realized I learned what worked for me. And I thought that I had to become the expert to bring that to everyone. About a year ago, not even quite a year ago, it became very apparent to me that my strengths weren't in trying to become the expert for everyone else. My strengths were in bringing together all of the experts that already had these really great processes and modalities and evidence-based trauma work, that happens outside the therapist's office that really helps you process your trauma in real time. So over the last maybe 6 or 8 months or so, we've cultivated a lot of these relationships. We have curated. We had, I think the tally was maybe about 120, over 100 people for sure, interested in becoming experts. And we interviewed them all. We put them through a pretty rigorous curation process so that we narrowed it down to the 20 that we have now that fall into these 4 modalities. It sort of snowballed so quickly. We surveyed our audience. We asked them what they wanted, what they needed the most. That was part of getting our experts together too, is to make sure that we're bringing the right resources to the people where they need them the most. So I hope that tells the story. There's so much to it.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it's been in the making for more than 6 years is kind of impressive in and of itself. It's not like it was just thrown together, slapped up there, and let's go. There's been a lot of thought and some innovation put into this, some really smart thought process about what it should look like. That's evolved. And what it's turned into today and what you've launched with just recently is probably quite a bit different than what the original conception was.
Absolutely. When I originally thought about it, I was like, we'll do a couple of retreats. We'll, have people go out and we'll just learn stuff in a week together. And because again, originally I thought I had to be the expert for everyone. Mm-hmm. And, I had to look at my capacity and what I was able to do. And it just wasn't feasible for me to do all of it. And it has evolved. And now it's kind of evolving into, people are kind of calling it the Netflix of healing trauma, because it is on demand. The goal is to bring all of these resources on demand instead of prescribing, first you have to work on this and then you have to work on this. We want to be able to get you the answers you need when they come up. When you're having relationship struggles, we want you to be able to go and get the answers from a vetted expert, from somebody that is trauma informed, that has helped people, and that has the really specific answer to the really specific question that you have. Mm-hmm. Through our membership, you have access to Ask an Expert. All of these experts are available. You can ask them direct questions about your exact scenario and get real answers. So it's kind of like the Netflix of trauma, of healing trauma. That's one way people are calling it. But it's also like having all these experts on speed dial to just reach out to them.
That brings up another point. You said you vetted through over 100 experts, settled on 20. I know we don't have time to go through each one of who those experts are and what their expertise is in, but can you categorize some of the expertise master classes that'll be coming up?
Definitely. So we have several masterclasses already completed from our masterclass series that we started back in November. We wanted to get a bank of content available to people so that they could hit the ground running. They fall into the 4 categories. So we have health and wellness, wealth and career, love and relationships, which includes self-love. Then we also have happiness and growth. We have experts, our health and wellness experts. We have a trauma-informed nutritionist, and actually she's running a workshop right now. So January, we're focusing on health as our featured topic. And so we have an expert on that. We have two experts that actually work in pain management. One of them is a registered nurse. The other one is a doctorate of physiotherapy. They both have very different processes for dealing with pain management. We also have sleep experts. We have someone who actually, she is an equine therapist, and she works with animals and how we can co-regulate with animals and regulate our nervous system. So that's just in the health category. In our wealth category, we have, so myself, we had mentioned already, I have the Survivor to CEO program. Under that, if you want to start a business, we work with you to help you start a trauma-informed business that not only is trauma-informed for your customers and your clients, but really takes into account how a survivor's brain works and allows you to build a business in anti-hustle way, right? We do it in a way that aligns with what your brain and body needs. We have a financial expert. He's an award-winning author. His story is incredible in what he's experienced and what he rebuilt for himself. And he wrote this amazing book that he's now giving away to survivors through Survivor School called Financially Capable. And he helps people repair their credit and regain control of their finances. We also have a wealth expert. She works specifically with women and teaches them how to rebuild their own confidence and ask for a raise or advocate for themselves for a better position. And I know that's huge for a lot of survivors, is that we kind of get stuck in positions that we're totally overqualified for because self-worth and not knowing how to advocate for ourselves. We have love and relationship experts. We actually have I think the official term for her is a sexologist, and she's going to be teaching us how to feel safe in our bodies again, especially women who've experienced sexual assault. This is huge for us. It's so hard to build trust with other people when we don't know how to trust ourselves in our own bodies. We have a drama therapist that's going to help us move through the different roles and become more of our authentic self and figure out who it is that we've been trying to be for other people, which oftentimes is a safety mechanism for ourselves, and who we want to be for ourselves. We have relationship experts. We have people that do really creative, artistic modalities. One of them is called cosmic smash booking. And this is this really creative art journaling process. And it's really incredible what we can do when we distance ourselves from the emotional experience that we're having and we pour it down into paper and we pour it out through art. I'm just cracking the surface. I apologize to any of my experts if I'm forgetting anyone here.
No, I'm just impressed and want to point out to the audience how widely varied your experts are. There's something for everybody.
Yes.
I mean, with 20 different experts, if there's an area that you need that isn't covered, I'd be shocked. And if that happens, let Arci know, because we can certainly expand that expertise base.
Yeah, we do. We have somebody doing aromatherapy even. We are in the talks with someone to do a form of like music therapy as well. Wow. So one of the reasons for this too, and I'm kind of glad you brought this up. This is a really good opportunity to explain. You can't just go to YouTube and look these things up. Now, you might be able to, and you might be able to find things if you know what you're looking for. One of the really cool things that we have built Survivor School around is the neuroscience of trauma. And Dave, I know you talk about this a lot. Yep. You and I get a little bit nerdy in our discussions. We go deep dive into this. Yeah. So as human beings, there's 4 different modalities, how we learn and operate in the world. There's auditory, there's visual, there's kinesthetic, and then there's something called auditory digital. These are the deep thinkers of the world, the philosophers and the people that have to think their way out of things. And trauma affects and trauma shows up differently in each of these 4 modalities. So how you interact with content and everything that we've built is based on the neuroscience of trauma. So how you interact with the content, how you are able to get transformation is that we've sought out all of these experts that work within each of these different modalities. So it's not just the 4 pillars of your life, it's how your brain operates to interact in those 4 pillars of your life. You might be a more visual person, in which case watching a video, working through some art project may actually be exactly what you need. Whereas talking to a therapist and auditory exchange might not be your thing. If you really like podcasts, you might be an auditory person. You might be auditory digital, where you like to listen to the information and consume it. Kinesthetic people, these are people who feel things deeply in their body. You may really have an awareness of what anxiety and stress and depression and hypervigilance and survival mode feels like in your body. We have experts that help you connect with that and move that through. So we have been incredibly thoughtful about not just bringing you information, but bringing it to you in a modality that allows you transformation, allows you to actually implement these things. So that's a huge part of this, and that's ongoing. We're still building tools in as we go to make sure we're covering all those bases. Yeah.
Arci, this is exciting, and I'm really happy that this is finally launched and that it's out there. How do people get involved if they want to be a part of Survivor School?
I will make sure that you get all the links that you can put in show notes as well to make it easy to find. First and foremost, go check out our website. It's definitely a work in progress, but we invite you to click around, see what's there. There's an Explore Content tab, but that is www.survivor-school.com. You can find us on Instagram. We are The Survivor School. We have just started this new Instagram account, so please join us to help it grow and help the algorithm share it to more people.
Right.
But there you'll find information. We're always posting the new and upcoming events. We have free master classes. We do have some paid content. This is a membership. So behind a paywall, there is an even huger amount of content. This is where you get to work directly with the experts through workshops, special events, retreats. You can ask an expert and join in the discussion. Every Friday, actually, this is what's really cool. This is open to everyone. We have something called Calm the F Down Friday. And this is a live session where we go in and we do nervous system regulation. We'll have an expert there to be able to ask some questions. And it's just a really good opportunity to get to know others. So there's a place for peer-to-peer connection and people to learn each other's stories and things like that. And then we'll also have a YouTube channel going up with a lot of things, but most of the content on the YouTube channel will also be directly available on our site.
This is exciting. Arci, I'm so glad you suggested that we have this little conversation. I'm really excited that we have gotten together and given you the opportunity to introduce Survivor School to my Sexual Assault Survivor Stories audience. And I hope that many of you in my audience reach out to Arci and become part of this because it's powerful, powerful stuff.
Thank you so much, Dave. I know that we're going to see a lot of you. Like I said, you're one of our experts. Dave's actually very involved, so I'm going to throw gold stars to Dave a little bit here. Dave has been monumental in doing some trauma-informed training with our experts. Most of our experts come in with some trauma-informed training, but he has absolutely amplified their ability to communicate directly with experts and things like that. So you're going to see a little bit more of Dave in there as well. He's also going to be working on a couple of other projects we have going on, probably a couple of different master classes and workshops. So I don't want to speak too much to that. And Dave, I'll let you own that. But
yeah, that's the hope. I mean, I really want to be involved with this and grow with it also. Yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time and your energy.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Always, always, always. I absolutely love our collaborations. Yep. And I know that while this is huge, the sky's the limit. This is growing. It's growing very, very fast. And I'm just excited for it every single day. So thank you so much.
Thank you again. Good to talk to you. Thanks a bunch.
Definitely.
That does it for another episode of Sexual Assault Survivor Stories, the SAS podcast. I want to thank Arci Grey from the bottom of my heart for agreeing to be on the show today and allowing Sexual Assault Survivor Stories to be a platform for the announcement of the opening of Survivor School. Not only am I a proud affiliate of Arci's platform, but I'm also proud to be a contributing expert and masterclass presenter for Survivor School. Thank you, Arci. I truly appreciate this opportunity. And thank you, my listeners, for your loyalty in tuning in each week and for spreading the word that this podcast exists. I appreciate the part that each one of you has played in making this a successful and healing show. Together, we can help diminish the impact of rape culture and lower the prevalence of rape and sexual assault. Join me again next week as I bring you another episode of Sexual Assault Survivor Stories, the SAS podcast, with a guest who has a story that is as inspiring as it is informative and crucial in helping to normalize the conversation of rape and sexual assault in order to help reduce these offenses. In the meantime, please remember to start by believing when a victim or survivor reaches out to tell their story, and let's all do our part to help bring justice to victims and survivors, because we all know someone whose life has been impacted by rape or sexual assault. We'll see you next week.